Hello everyone and welcome back. This is game 2 of the matchup between the Freelancer and BustRobot. Freelancer chooses the map this time. He chooses Gunma Field. Great map for cavalry, but if the last match was any indication, he might not have any cavalry in this map, bringing a lot of infantry as we can see. Red points are pretty evenly spread. These matchlocks are elite at level 6. No cavalry as we can see, but knowing this map, it's great for cavalry. One, obviously, it's flat, and it's pretty open, so obviously favors cavalry, but there's great crabbing potential over here in these trees. You can move all the way up here and be able to hit your enemy right when he least expects it. There are two buildings too. We have the workshop and the farmhouse, so a decent spread of buildings. With no cavalry too, that really limits your ability to check those buildings. So I think if I were BustRobot, I would think this guy maybe doesn't bring too much cavalry and I can take these buildings, but speak of the devil, looks like we have cavalry. Yari cavalry and a great guard. Now, knowing great guard, usually people don't bring just one. If you're going to use the retainer to get great guard, you usually bring two. So I would still expect there to be cavalry in hiding for the Freelancer. I guess we will find out. Both these replays are set to me on BustRobot, as Freelancer didn't save his, so we aren't going to see it from his perspective. That's fine though. We'll just have to wait until the cavalry comes out. And maybe he's thinking what I'm thinking, because he has a cavalry unit running up here sort of preemptively. He might be doing some scouting. Oh, and if you notice, my mic might be a little better in this battle, because my mic gain inadvertently got turned up like 10 extra decibels, so that's probably why it wasn't such good quality. So I turned it back down, and I hope it sounds better, because obviously I want to only put out the highest quality casting in these sort of tournaments. Now, it looks like BustRobot took a very similar build to what he had in the last game, but I didn't see any no-dodges. In fact, now that I think of it, maybe that wasn't even no-dodge in last battle. Maybe it was a Katana Samurai that had no, this is classic battles. I don't think Katana Samurai can have bonsai. So I looked at this build and looked pretty much the same as last time, and I didn't see a no-dodge. He's like, wait a minute, did he have a no-dodge, or did I just assume that was a no-dodge? So apologies if I said it was no-dodge and it wasn't. I can't quite remember. But a little bit different in this build because he has two Naginata monks. That's kind of scary. No monks that I saw over here for the Freelancer. Now the Freelancer is a designated attacker. He's going to have to move out, but it looks like he's just going to be taking these buildings first. Naginata Samurai. Well, that's actually a bow cavalry. Interesting diversion in the build there. Pretty decent map for bow cavalry as well, being, well, flat and relatively open. Try and shoot his Naginatas with their high armor. Not going to do much damage. Only lost 4 men. Kind of a waste of arrows. Maybe shooting into the Great Guard of the Yari Cavalry might be a little better. I think I'd be hitting the veteran matchlocks, though. That's also a very good choice. So just waiting around, trying to get these buildings. The minimap colors now coordinate to the army colors, so that's nice. I was getting a little confused last match, as the blue team was red on the map and the red team was blue, so that was a little confusing, but a Yari Samurai and a Naginata Samurai are going to capture both these buildings. That's really going to work in the Freelancer's favor, definitely. Now, I'd probably be taking this time to skirmish too. You might as well while the buildings are out, but he might be feeling a little unsafe with the 5 cavalry units that BustRobot has compared to his 2, at least that we've seen. It still might be a few more hidden in the trees. We're not quite sure. Katana Samurai coming out of the... Oh, there's a no-dodge too. He's going to be very careful, because it's kind of a weak side here. Though, come to think of it, if they hit those bows, that would block their charge. Great use for bows. Once they sort of outlive their usefulness, why not absorb a no-dodge charge? But they're getting in a dangerous position here, but dangerous for both teams, as the cavalry is kind of seeing that and saying, hey, you're pretty much undefended, and I can hit you with a good charge here in these trees, and if that cavalry comes to try and support you, where it is, there they are, they come and try and support you, I can bog you down into a war of attrition here in the trees, which superior cavalry units can end up losing, and maybe even support them with the Yari Ashigaru. No Yari Samurai seems. They don't have that advance rapidly, unfortunately. That's one reason why I really love them. But the skirmish has already started. Ooh, it looks like who's getting the better of this one? It looks like BustRobot's getting the better of it this time. His matchlocks are losing a lot of men, and only lost about 50 here for BustRobot. So he's really getting torn up, but he's doing a good job of tearing up the Freelancer too. The arrows are flying too, and he's taking serious casualties. They're shooting into the matchlocks, which are now pretty much useless, being behind the lines. So probably should be diverting his bow attention, especially being a bow warrior monk, away from the matchlocks into something else so they'd be a little more useful. Charge is coming up. Ooh, and the no-dodge is going to get hit with the charge, rendering their charge useless. So on both counts. So very important there. A little bit of maybe got caught off guard. I don't know. It might have been microing somewhere else, but one Naginata Samurai in the cavalry. The Great Guard is moving out, but he's going to be able to bog him down here just barely in the trees, losing that war of attrition. Matchlocks aren't going to last very long in a melee fight, obviously, so the center is breaking. There's nothing here in the center. I mean, absolutely nothing. There's only this no-dachi over here, which isn't going to get a very good charge off. Nothing separating BustRobot from the Freelancer's general, popping a rally here by BustRobot as well. Gonna get kind of a flank in, but this cavalry over here is gonna be able to do some serious damage. They need to move out soon though. It looks like his micro is diverted elsewhere. Getting his general to stand to fight. They're completely protected here. There's nothing in the middle to stop him except the enemy general. But oh, these matchlocks could be dangerous if he manages to reposition him a little bit. Could get shots into the general and maybe pick him off, which would really turn this battle. Again, didn't get a good charge over here, and they seem to be losing. No, maybe not. It's fairly even, actually. There's a Yari Ashigaru, but it's at full strength. The Great Guard is now coming into effect. We'll see where he hits. Looks like he's going into the general. Ooh, but he's not going to get a good charge off. Wasn't a terrible charge, I've seen worse. Killed 7 men. Could have been better, maybe, though. Spread him out. Actually, keeping a thick formation against the general is good because there's less space for him to run into. Here comes the cavalry, finally, from BustRobot moving in. One looks like it's going to the general, the other's going right to the melee line. Good use of splitting up the cavalry there. Another cavalry. Must be hiding in the trees way over there. Bows are diverting through the Katana Samurai. Another pretty confusing battle like we had in the last game. Both sides are mingling freely amongst each other, so pretty hard just to keep track of what's going on everywhere. We have wavering a little bit on BustRobot's side, but Freelancer just doesn't have the numbers to really hold up, which is surprising seeing as he has less cavalry than BustRobot. BustRobot definitely had a cavalry advantage, and he maybe has an infantry advantage too, or at least it's too close to call, and maybe a skirmish advantage too. Interesting. Looks like BustRobot a little better macro there and picking out his army setup, but is the general dead? Can't believe I didn't notice that, but it looks like BustRobot's general is routed or dead. The unit's still holding strong though, having numbers, but the bows are going to be cleaned up fairly quickly. See, these are just samurai, going to be decent in melee, but without a general in range, they're going to be routing fairly quickly. Just cleaning up the ranged units here for BustRobot. We're going to have round 2 of the melee battle, which, you know, Freelancer might have a bit of an advantage here. BustRobot does have these 2 cavalry units, and ooh, this one's going to go right into the general. If he loses the general here, that's going to be very bad. There's hardly any infantry left for BustRobot. Freelancer really turned that battle around. Looks like his infantry is really getting smashed there, but Freelancer ends up winning with some serious micro all along that line. I love those battles with really long melee line. There's so much going on, so hard to macro, or micro. But he ends up doing it quite well. This is going to be a very close battle coming down to the wire. The general is gone for Freelancer. Both generals are off the field. Very interesting. Great Guard here is trying to chase off the Katana Cavalry with 3 times as many men in the unit. It's going to be a waste of a Great Guard, I think. How's his men? How are his men? Naginata's at 111, 59, 111. So decent numbers here for Freelancer. This is going to be close. BustRobot can't afford to lose his cavalry here. It's the only ace in the hole he has. Except these Naginata monks. 2 monks and 2 cavalry versus a lot more infantry. Just a little bit of cavalry. There goes the Great Guard off the field. Maybe been a waste, but it did hold him down so he could consolidate his infantry, so maybe not such a bad choice. Katana's going to get hit here by a Katana cavalry charge. That might be enough to clean him off the field. This is going to be close. What a game, folks. Possibly the closest game of this tournament yet. Naginata monks are going into the Naginata samurai. Have about twice as many men in the unit. We'll see if the war cry ends up making the difference with that morale penalty. Morale is lower for the blue unit here. He needs to pop this war cry soon, at least for this Naginata warrior monk. He's going to beat that Yari samurai, no problem. The cavalry is flanking too. There go the Katana samurai, and it looks like BustRobot's going to pull it out. That battle went back and forth. It looked like BustRobot had a clear advantage early on. Freelancer managed to turn it around, but it looks like BustRobot's going to get the better of it here in the very end. There goes that Yari samurai. All that's left is a Naginata samurai, 2 of them, and the Yari cavalry. But those Naginata monks are so strong, it looks like BustRobot's going to be able to take this one. And the morale too, better mention that. With the general off the field, morale is key here. The Naginata warrior monks have great morale. Morale of 18, in fact. Very good. So even though we have the buildings, it looks like it's not going to be enough for Freelancer to win this final battle. Very close, though. Let's see how many men are left. 96. Only about 115 men. 59 left for the Naginata samurai. So it comes down to the last 200 or so men on the field. But it looks like BustRobot's going to take it. We'll watch this last charge of the Naginata samurai going down in a heroic charge. Spread them out wide and run them in. Give it a shot. Might get the better of a charge, you never know. With the mechanics this game has. And there they go, they're going to rout, but Gave it a good shot. Very close game. I love games like that. There was no indication of who was going to win until the very end. Love games like that. See you guys on the main menu. So what a close game that was. Game 2, it just came down to the last few men left on the field. The heroics of a few end up deciding the battle. Great battle there. Love seeing things like that, but it's going to mean a sweep for BustRobot taking the series 2-0. Freelancer's going to be moving down to the losers bracket. BustRobot's moving on in the winners bracket. Now picking a map like Gunma Field, it's just so great for cavalry with that, with the crabbing action you can get in the trees off to the side like that. Even Nodachis can work quite well. He did bring some Nodachis, so he looked like he was trying to crab a little bit off in the trees. We saw those units be right up there on the front, but they didn't really do anything with them, and his Nodachis ended up getting charged. That might have just completely turned the battle, especially if you saw those wings were a little unprotected. There's Naginata monks on either side. If he could have gotten a good charge right into those Naginata monks, that probably would have won the battle for him right there, just single-handedly, if he took out those monks on a big charge. The thing that matters in charge defense is pretty much entirely just your armor, and armor is not something that Naginata monks are known for. So a big charge into the monks there would have probably sealed the deal there for Freelancer, but it's all hindsight now. BustRobot takes the series 2-0. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next match.